I want to share a story with you about a young lady named Dana. Dana was 16 years old. She was vibrant, she was kind-hearted, and she was healthy. On Thanksgiving afternoon in 1996, Dana and her mom and sister were having a conversation about organ donation. Kara, her sister, and her mom quickly agreed that they would be organ donors. And in typical teenage fashion, Dana says, "Sure, why wouldn't I do that?" 35 days later, Dana is involved in a car crash less than a mile from her home. The crash takes Dana's life. Across town, another family is also living the unthinkable. Meet Justin. Justin was a shy, funny kid. He was born with a heart defect. And by the time he was 10 years old, he had had cardiac arrest twice and had an internal pacemaker. He was just one of many waiting on the list for an organ transplant in St. Louis. And if he didn't get his heart very soon, he would die. Dana's parents honored her wishes, and she became an organ donor. Justin received Dana's heart. This space between death and life is where I live every day. For the past 31 years, I've had the privilege of being on the forefront of the organ donation industry, working for Mid-America Transplant. As a result of that, we have seen many families that we've worked with and served, and I've been involved in over 12,000 transplants in my career. One of those was Justin's. Thank you. But despite that work, 120,000 people are waiting today for a transplant across this country. And here in St. Louis alone, 1,700 people wait tonight to get that call. They wait and they wonder, is today the day I get the call for my knee heart? Or maybe tonight someone will call me that I get a new set of lungs or a new liver. Many of these individuals will die while they're on the wait list. 30,000 deaths occur in hospitals in the 84 counties surrounding St. Louis, but only 1%, yes, less than 300 people are eligible to be an organ donor. Think of those odds if you were waiting for a transplant. So that's why it's my job and our job to make sure every organ donation opportunity happens. When I first started in this business, not quite in 1965, but when I first started in this business, everything related to organ donation happened in a hospital, from identifying the potential recipient to using their resources and clinical staff to make organ donation a reality. But there was a problem with that. Hospitals are busy, hospitals are complex, they are all about life. I've seen organ donation cases get bumped for a gallbladder surgery or a tonsillectomy. And we realized maybe, just maybe, hospitals weren't the best place to do organ recovery. So we began to look at that. We began to evaluate this entire process. We wanted to find a better way to navigate that space between death and life. We wanted to do it to make sure that all the donors could be honored, that their families had a meaningful, compassionate experience, and that we could save more lives. So we took the process apart. We spent hours brainstorming and doing research. We worked with multiple teams across the city to try to find a better way. But ultimately, all of our evaluation revealed that we had a system that was inefficient and ineffective. What we found was the institution that had given birth to our organization, the hospital, had become our biggest logistical hindrance. Asking what-if questions led us to this. In 2001, we opened our state-of-the-art ICU and organ and tissue recovery facility outside a hospital. This was the first time this had been done in the entire world, and it happened here. We knew that we could manage a safe process. We knew that we could order and schedule things at a time that were ideal for the medical teams. And we knew that at the end of the day, using a resource like this, we could save more lives. When a life is lost in the hospital, and when the family authorizes donation, that's when our organization steps in. Our nurses deliver exceptional care without the time constraints from the hospital because they don't have competing priorities. Their sole interest is on the care of that donor. Our critical care nurses have been trained to do lots of procedures, and bronchoscopies are performed, and they assist our chief medical officer in treating lungs with pneumonia, so they are their healthiest possible for transplant. We infuse cardiac drugs to strengthen weakened hearts, and we can improve the function of kidneys and livers outside the body with mechanical perfusion. All of these things happen in an effort to make sure that the best organ possible is going forward to the patient. Timing is critical in organ transplantation. The clock at our facility, we control. We've been able to ensure that the time that the organ is out of the body on ice or cooler time is shortened by almost 50% by using our facility. That ensures a healthier organ when it gets to transplant. We've also realized if we are not constrained by the time schedules in a hospital, we can schedule these surgeries when they are optimal, that the surgeon is well rested and the A team is available to do the transplant at the donor hospital. Because we control this clock, we have precious time to do special things to honor the donor's life. We read a poem, we observe a moment of silence, we might play a favorite song from the donor. We've had everything from Elvis to opera playing in our OR, all reflective from what the donor's favorites might have been. And some families write a farewell note to their loved one that we read before the surgery begins. And with permission, I'd like to share one of these notes with you that we read just a few weeks ago in our OR. The woman before you filled many roles: mother, daughter, friend, and the love of my life. Dee loved. She loved life, she loved her family, and she loved God. This love is displayed through her gift of life to another. Dee could change the world with a smile, and she will be missed by many, but never forgotten. These powerful moments allow our surgical teams to have just a small glimpse at what the donor's life was about, and that they were someone's mother and daughter and love of their life. Before we built the facility in our building, we were transplanting about 200 organs a year from local donors at Mid-America Transplant. Since that time, we've experienced more than a 200% increase. And we're on target this year to have a record high of transplanting over 700 organs in the St. Louis area. And while these numbers are significant, and we're excited about that, for the recipients, shorter cooler time, an optimized surgery schedule for their surgeon to do their case, all of those things can give them the best shot at a great transplant. But it also provides something else for them, and that's hope. Hope to live a normal life. So what's normal? For most of us, it may have been going to work, may have been coming here this evening, taking your child to soccer or dance, or it could just be sitting on the couch with a bucket of popcorn binge-watching Netflix. However you define normal, we know what it's not. It's not being tethered to an oxygen tank that you have to drag around to breathe. It's not having to go to a dialysis unit 3 times a week to ensure that you have enough kidney function to sustain your life. But what donor families tell us is that they are so appreciative that someone can live their best life possible because of their loved one's gift. What we found was our results continued to improve. We were transplanting more people and saving more lives. And our peers began to notice. While initially, when we were taking this procedure outside the hospital, they all thought we were crazy. Crazy. Organ donation outside the hospital? Who's ever heard of something like that? But as you can see, by the end of 2017, 8 other cities will have replicated the model and adopted it that we put in place here in St. Louis. These facilities will allow these organizations to save more lives, and that is a beautiful thing. So we had tackled what we believed to be opportunities in the organ donation process. And so then we decided we would take on another opportunity, and that was improving the experience at the DMV. Okay, enough said about the DMV, right? So one might ask, why would an organ and tissue organization want to get in the driver's license business? We also ask ourselves that a few times along the way. But what we realized were several really important things. We knew that if someone had signed up on the registry and their loved one knew what they wanted, there was a much greater chance that the family would agree and would consent to organ donation. We also realized that 98% of us that are on the registry choose to do so at the license office. So we had the privilege of creating another industry first. In 2012, we became the first organ recovery organization to run a DMV across the country. But while you may wonder, one of the key things they ask you is if you would like to be on the registry. And we wanted that opportunity to make sure we could educate our community and that we could ensure when they made that decision to get on the registry, it was well informed. So we wondered, if we asked this question, could we get more people on the registry? Could more lives be saved? We did, and it worked. Because over the course of our 3 offices and 4 years, we had record enrollments of 108,000 people on the state organ registry. We still continue to innovate. Lives depend on us getting better. Each donation opportunity, each successful transplant touches not only the individual that got the transplant, but their family and their community. We know we have to continue to ask those questions, what-if questions. And we do it for families like yours, and we do it for patients like Kate and Abby, 2 young girls who were waiting over a year on the list for a kidney and a liver. Imagine what their parents lived with every day. As you can see, these 2 young ladies are thriving. They both got their transplants. They're both doing great. They continue to be excited about the chance to grow up together and do things that sisters do. And they both have an interest in giving back to their community. Kate to be a nurse and Abby to be a transplant coordinator. So, I dare each of you, I dare you every morning to start your day asking, what if? You never know the ripple effect you might create. Thank you.